Hey, what's up, Giants fan? Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast. I'm Mike, that's Jules, that's John. We are back again this week. Last week we talked about our starting offense for week one. This week we're going to start talking about our starting defense for week one, who we think is going to be the starters for week one. Jules, what other topics we got to discuss this week? I
Well,
know you
listen,
want to break.
besides it being the summer and people still on vacation and doing podcasts from out of town, uh, we definitely we gotta talk a little bit about training camp, which just opened up. A lot of a lot of noise, maybe not so much with Big Blue, but definitely some noise around the league where Aaron Rodgers came rolling in. I don't know if you guys saw that today.
I
My man
did.
had like flip flops on, sunglasses, his hair like almost in a band bun. Like he was just like
He looked good. He
showing
looked
up for
good.
work, baby.
You're a 4-year-old.
He looked all fucking relaxed, man. Let me tell you.
I
Relax.
was like, man, after all that, you just showed up to work like you were like, yes, I have my vacay. I'm chilling. Like, good for you.
Good for him, man. He's gonna marry Cheyenne Woodley and stuff pretty soon, man. He's living his life right now. God
I was
bless him,
like,
man.
yeah. He's like, I'm gonna get that fat paycheck. Oh yeah, you know what? You motherfuckers want me to stay around the Green Bay? You gonna pay me?
But yeah, he get paid for one more year. Then he could do whatever he wants after next year.
Well,
So I know a lot of Giant fans. Oh my God, we're gonna have Aaron Rodgers in a year. Shut the fuck up, you dicks. But speaking of fans, let me just give a quick shout out. I was checking out like the numbers for our podcast, and guys, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we have a lot of people obviously that listen to the show in the United States. It's like something like 88%, but we also have a lot of people that listen in the United Kingdom
all
and
right.
India as well. So
India.
shout out, like
Yes.
India,
All
India,
right.
like India,
right?
my India people, man. God bless you guys. Like, thank you so much for like listening. That's crazy, man. I just happened to look, man. Like, I just wanted to shout you guys out, and we appreciate you guys like listening over there.
And
Yeah,
just
that's pretty cool,
piggyback
man.
on that. Yeah, I was gonna say just to piggyback on that real quick, Mike. Like anybody in India that's that much of a Giants fan and is out here listening to the show, of course, much appreciation on that. But listen, give us a DM shout out, man, at the BBO NYG podcast on Twitter. Hit us up directly. Let us know that you're there, and maybe we'll get you on the show. We love hearing from anyone that's from out of the United States, let alone from almost on the other side of the planet. I mean, that's just fantastic. And of course, shout out to our boys over in the UK and Ireland. We love you guys. We'll have you back
Yep,
on
yep.
the show shortly as well. But definitely great things to hear that's going on, and people are reaching out from India. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. What'd you guys do this weekend? Anything going on this weekend at all? How is it? How's it been up north? Been down south here. I'm still recording from Jupiter, so you know how it is.
Weekend was pretty good, man. Hung out on Saturday. No, it was Sunday, I think it was, in New Jersey, in Reddington Township, which is like all the way out west. They're like one of the biggest hot air balloon festivals, apparently, in like in the country or whatever it is. So my fiance dragged me there. So we drove like an hour and change to get there, and go park, hang out, walk around the fair, get some fried Oreos, funnel cake, and we're watching them blow up these like 4 or 5 hot air balloons, and I'm like, bro, so much for the largest in the country, or one of the largest in the country. I was like, there's like 5 balloons here, like that's nothing. So they blow them all up, and then I see people like leaving in droves, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So I overhear this like couple, oh, I guess they can't do it this tonight. I guess we'll just have to wait till next year. So I was like, did they make an announcement? They're like, yeah, they made an announcement because it's a little windy out. They can't send the balloons up, so they can't do it tonight. And I was like, oh my god, I just fucking spent my whole fucking afternoon on Sunday for this shit, and they can't even send them up. That's still pretty cool though. Like they're way bigger than you would think. Like you don't really get a good feel for it unless you see it in person. They're like the size of like a 4-story building. They're fucking huge, those balloons.
Well,
Yeah,
listen,
huge, like huge.
it's funny you say that because literally I was on the beach earlier today. That's right, because I'm still down here in Florida. But I saw a couple of guys getting ready to do the parasails. Man, I didn't
Nice.
realize how much work went into that. Like to open up the sail, like yo, these guys were prepping. I was just laying down trying to get as much color. If you can see me on YouTube, I'm definitely red like the back of John's wall there. But literally,
Looks like you're on
literally, like,
fire.
I hear this noise. What the fuck are these dudes doing? And they're like opening this shit up. Those things are gigantic, man. Like that shit is like no joke to fucking true to your power sailing. So shout out to anybody who does that. Like it looked fun as shit. but also scary as shit. I saw a couple of times it whip around. These guys knew what they were doing, but like, I feel like that should have whipped me out to like the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and I have to get rescued by like the Coast Guard or something.
Man, Jules, it looks like your face is literally on fire, or that you just
Feels
seem
great
like,
though. I put
it
some
looks like
aloe on that bitch.
or maybe even see like Jessica Biel walk by your apartment or whatever, and then you just started blushing because you are just, yo, man, I feel bad because that shit's gonna hurt tomorrow morning.
Nah, it's good. Don't worry about it, man. This is gonna turn to olive oil about it later in the day.
You
It's
can't
definitely
tell.
gonna peel, if nothing else.
You guys can't tell, but I was out in the sun all weekend. I just chilled by the pool like pretty much all weekend. But I use so much fucking lotion because of my stupid Irish skin. Like I'm scared, like because when I burn, I just like I get sick. And it's all fucking. It's just depressing being in this fucking Irish fucking body I'm stuck in. Plus, I basically that's all I did this weekend, and all I keep hearing all around New York, like welcome back, Jules, when you get back to New York, it's going to be on COVID lockdown again because there's another variant going around. There's so much other bullshit going on. Vaccinated, don't get vaccinated, don't get the shot. I don't care what you do. But now the NFL is pretty much telling their players they're bullying them
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
either get
straight
the
up.
shot or you don't even have a chance to make the team. Pretty much, if you're like on the bubble type player, if you didn't get your vaccination, they're pretty much not even going to invite you to camp. So, man, if you look into that, like I'm going to go more into detail because I don't want to bore the people on this. But if you want to listen to the Mix It Up podcast, I'm going to record it tonight with Nick, and we're going to go into detail about how the NFL is forcing that COVID shot on the players. You know, it's definitely it should be a little concerning to people. You know,
Social
besides that,
conditioning, man.
so you know,
Social conditioning.
it's I don't know. We'll get into that later. If you guys want to hop on to Mix It Up and talk about that, you guys of course are welcome to. But yeah, besides that, man, like I don't know, man. New York is probably be on lockdown pretty soon. As long as it don't affect the Giants or you know any other NFL team that we got to play, like then I'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should take a page out of the Florida playbook. I don't know what the fuck they do down here, but I guarantee you that Tampa, Jacksonville, Miami, they ain't doing any of that kind of protocol bullshit. They don't give a fuck out here.
That's because Florida people got everything. They have the best immune system because they got every disease known to man. Like they don't give a shit. Like rubbers, they don't wear rubbers down there.
Bro, they were talking about like they got corona.
You're saying Roberts?
Like, well, they were talking about like they got corona, like that shit was the chicken pox, like when they were a kid. Like, oh yeah, I got the chicken pox. Yeah, no big deal, man. I didn't scratch. I put some calamine lotion on. I was good. It's like, what the fuck?
Right.
Oh,
I drank
Well,
some
guys.
tea. I was better.
I'm definitely gonna be quarantining when I get home.
Yeah. But anyway, like you guys want to get into like some good news for once. We got training camp coming around.
Yeah, dude. Happy New Year.
Like,
That's
dude,
it, baby.
that
It
makes
is officially pretty much the start of the season now, right? I mean, we couldn't say this a year ago. There wasn't training camp. I mean, this is kind of big news. You know, granted, nothing's really sort of jumped off on the flames here with the Giants or anything like off the hot pan or any of that kind of nonsense. It's business as usual. Guys are all reporting. Kadarius Toney is healthy to go. He's 100% go for camp. So I know he had a little bit of a COVID scare. I mean, look, man, it's game on, man. That's how I'm looking at it. I don't know about you guys.
It's fucking game on, bro. That's it. Straight through. Every day there's going to be some piece of football news of some kind all the way through into mid-February at this point. You're going to have they're going to be starting to practice in a couple of days, like full, shells and helmets, passing the ball, all that stuff. You're going to see all that shit day after day, player interviews. And then, we are, as it stands right now, 17 days away from the first preseason game. 17 days, 23 hours, 29 minutes.
wow.
The first preseason game.
Once this weekend passes, it's going to be less than 2 weeks.
That's what.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Jules, you did the math, Jules. Congratulations.
Hey, like with the quickness, like,
Yeah.
For everybody that didn't know that, like if you wait to the after the weekend, it's less than 17 days.
It'll be less than 2 weeks at that point.
More days went by. So I mean, yeah, bro, we're fucking here, man. They're gonna have, like I said, they're supposed to have different players lined up for interviews each one of these the next few days. So we'll have some small taste and just hearing the guys getting interviewed, talking about their excitement for the season, this and that. There's a little bit of bad news with Blake Martinez, being put on the COVID list, but honestly, who knows if he has COVID, if he was just on the list, he could have just been a close contact. Maybe, he's getting a haircut, his barber had it, something like that, and
Could
be
be
cleared in
late.
a couple of days.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about at this point in the off season. So,
No.
but yeah, man, it's fucking smiles all around. We're fucking here.
Dude,
We're fucking here.
Dude, like there's three things that I love in life: my dog Barkley, the Giants, and cocaine. Like, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Actually, fun fact.
I don't see anything wrong with what you said.
No, there's probably nothing wrong with it, except like cocaine probably ruin your life if you abuse it. But this a fun fact. Like, I've never used cocaine before. That's a fun fact about me. Like, because I know myself. I know myself because I would probably fall in love with that too. Like, literally. And it would just ruin my life. I would probably like have like 8 balls all around my fucking house. I'll be thinking like I'm a big kingpin. I'll probably go down to Yonkers Avenue, pick up like 20 day laborers and have like 20, Mexicans as like my fucking cartel. Like, and it would just send me down a wrong fucking path. So that's why I don't do cocaine, people.
Well, you be driving down here to South Florida and trying to run that shit up north. You know, I used to be going on like these runs for like 24 hours a day, like up and down. Yeah, up and down. I'll build 95, baby.
I'll build a tunnel from Florida into New York, right under 95.
Right under 95. Straight through.
Listen, you get that shit out of Montreal, so you can just kind of build it through the state of New York. Save you some fucking property there. There you go. That's supposed to be a huge port nowadays.
Shit.
Montreal for cocaine, really?
Yeah, they smoke.
I guess however they want to get into the country.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like they have some Indian reservations that take care of that shit, but I don't know anything about this. I'm just reporting what I've heard.
I don't know. I think we got it figured out, man. We might have to start a corporation right now.
Listen, they've been doing that shit for years. We just didn't know about it.
Yeah, a lot of underground shit, let me tell you.
Listen, I mean, look, there's still a couple of things to watch for in camp, and we kind of touched on it last week. Will Hernandez basically, moving over to that right guard spot. He's going to be competing there. That's something to watch. Kenny Galladay has been working with Daniel Jones, and we definitely have seen them, like getting together as far as building that chemistry. So it'll be interesting to see in the next few days this week, next week, like how that actually develops even further. So a couple of good things and bright notes from the offense, because I know we're going to make this show mainly about defense today. So that's why I'm just kind of touching on the offense. Any other sort of things to look out for in training camp, guys, offensively?
Offensively. Big Blue offensively.
There it is.
Probably
BBONYG?
No. Probably just staying healthy, to be honest. That's all I'm like really hoping and praying that like no injuries, no more COVID situations where people have to like take a break or take a week off. That's my biggest concern is like, even during the season, once the season starts, like, all right, some guy got COVID. Is he going to miss a game? Not because of an injury, just because he got COVID apparently with no symptoms and no nothing. And then he has to be forced to miss a game, which, but listen, this is the new world we're living in. So I guess we're going to have to deal with it. Every team's going to have to deal with it.
Did you guys listen to Daniel Jones on the Giants Huddle podcast today?
I missed it.
Okay. All right. So it was like a 10-minute interview with John Schmelk. One thing that he said that was pretty interesting, John had asked him, like, given that you guys are your second year in the system and stuff like that, what's really the difference? And, he went on to say that, they're still kind of focusing on the fundamentals. They haven't really incorporated many wrinkles and stuff like that. They're focused on fundamentals. But one thing that was interesting that he said, right now, they're so far ahead of where they were at this point last year. They were sitting over Zoom calls just like we're sitting now. Now they're being able to be in person. They were in person a few weeks ago at OTAs and mandatory minicamp, and just where not just Daniel Jones but the whole team, all the offensive linemen, that extra time being together to kind of to gel, the receivers, tight ends. You might see a team that hits the ground running for real this year, but it's pretty cool.
They don't got like a rough schedule like they did last year to start the first 6 games of the season. Remember that was like murderer's row. So this might be like a little bit easier on them.
They faced 8 of the top 10 defenses the first 9 weeks of the season or something like that. That's how they're working out. Bananas.
But like it's crazy too. Imagine being in a job for a year, right? You're still fairly new. You're learning a new system, whatever, and then all of a sudden your boss gets fired. A whole new management team comes into your office, and now you got to learn their style, how they want things done. Oh, wait, Instead of having meetings in person and going through like 2 weeks of training, you now have to do this shit over a fucking computer on a Zoom call. Like, dude, that's basically what Daniel Jones and the rest of his team did. Right. Then you had a significant injury to Barkley. Offensive line that was starting to gel together. That had 3 different rookies starting on it. I mean, dude, are you kidding me? This year is like way different. Like these guys should feel like it's Christmas in July. We're fucking having this like practice and showing up to mini camp and everything else. And I'll tell you one last thing with that. You know, say what you want about Judge. I think, you know, obviously the entire Giants nation loves him and feel that he's on board, but he doesn't have that much love or respect just yet around the league or with other fan bases. And this would be a great fucking year now, knowing that he has the training camp and preseason, all the shit ahead of him, to really get that fucking program and community of his installed in their minds and how it should be. And it's going to reflect, I think, when we see the first couple of weeks of the season. We're going to be a different looking team week 1 than we were last year. That's what I feel.
You'll see them not necessarily mid-season form per se, but where they were week 4, 5, 6, 7 last year, where you can see that they weren't playing bad football. They were just not making that 1 or 2 plays that would have won them the game. And we watched the games came down to the last 10, 20 seconds of the game every single week. We just got bad luck. And, you know, one thing that got lost in the wash over the offseason, which should have been talked about more. Everybody says, you know, Saquon went down week 2. Saquon went down week 2. In that game, we also lost Sterling Shepard for 4 weeks. So you lost not only your most important offensive weapon overall, your entire run game, and your most reliable wide receiver. That's who Daniel Jones lost. That's what the offensive line lost. That's what Jason Garrett lost the first 2 weeks of the season. So after only having really 3 or 4 weeks to prepare themselves for the season, all the work that they put in basically got flushed down the toilet instantaneously. Right. So I want to change the narrative when it is referenced, and hopefully, you know, in a few weeks we just start winning games and we don't have to look backwards. We could just look forwards. But when we do talk about 2020, let's not forget about Shepard being hurt week 2. Right. And going on to have an 80% catch rate among the elite in the NFL as far as wide receivers are concerned. 80% catch rate, 79.8, something like that, 79.9. Important dude.
It was just bad luck last year with like those injuries to start off the year. I mean, how do you overcome that and try to build something on that? And the Giants, I tell you what, they didn't cave, they didn't fold. They were competitive in pretty much every game the whole year. And I tell you, I mean, that just goes to show you that like we're onto something. If we could play that way, imagine like a healthy squad with our top guys being there. Imagine what we could really show on the field next year. So should be pretty exciting.
No, bro, the next few weeks is definitely going to be ones to watch. And you know where I'm going to like emphasize the focus should be on the pass protection of our offensive line.
Right.
Because we know we're a good run team, or at least a pretty good fucking run offensive line. But it does show that the pass protection was a little weak last season. But here's another season, you know, guys are together, guys are playing for a second year, you know, now, not like they were rookies last season. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think one of these other ones, I always pick on CBS, so I think it was ESPN that said it, literally as of like, I believe June 8th. So it's a little while ago, but whatever, had us ranked as the worst pass protecting offensive line. Fucking guys, man. They love just picking on the Giants about some dumb shit all the time. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to throw that one in there real quick because I know that's sort of what the mindset is for it.
I hate that. Do they even give any reasons for it? Do they say it how it is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the dude who did that went on, I believe it was a Giants Huddle podcast a few weeks ago.
Giants Wire.
And what happened?
Giants Wire, I think he was on.
I think Giants Wire was talking about the interview. They wrote an article on the interview. And he was saying the reason why he put us dead last was because there was no offensive lineman that has a proven track record of being a good player. So just not listen, it was they're all young. None of them played super well. So being that there's no proven commodities, you're just gonna outright F your last place until proven different. So this is just one of those more situations where it's not about the evaluation. It's not about honesty. It's about clicks. And what do? You You put the New York Giants in the headline as the worst team, and where are you going to get? You're going to get all the Giants haters and all the Giants fans instantly engaged in whatever bullshit you're fucking writing.
Right.
And that's why we're ranked number 32. You can't say as an honest person they're number 32. You got a 4th overall pick at offensive tackle. You're going to tell me that he's the worst offensive tackle in football? No. Nick Gates played well last year. We're going to pretend like that's not the case. Will Hernandez is a league average guard, and you're hoping that Matt Pert and Shane Lemieux could be okay. That makes us the worst in the fucking league.
At least could get better. That's all they really got to do. If they could just improve upon from last year, that's all you're going to ask for, you know? And listen, it doesn't necessarily have to be where they're Pro Bowlers, but if they improve and they're better players this year, that's it. That's all you can ask for. That's all you're going to ask for. And with more threats and more offensive weapons, it's going to be a lot harder for them to continue putting that kind of pressure and rush on when you could dump a screen to, like, let's say, you know, Tony,
Saquon, fucking everybody.
You can go a fade route to fucking Galladay. Like, there's a lot of different things that are going to be different this season. And one thing I keep bringing up, as much as I make fun of old man Rudolph, I like to call him, he is still a hell of a blocking tight end. And that's just going to add and strengthen that offensive line. Well, of course, we know he's a reliable catcher, but I'm just saying, as far as, we're focusing on the pass protection here. And, that's a great blocking tight end, if need be, that we can have on that offensive line that's going to help out. So, like, there's definitely improvements that people are just, like, refusing to see. And they're also saying it in a sense that none of these rookies are going to work out. No one's going to take a step forward, and we're fucking doomed. That's it. The fucking line's going to be atrocious.
Jules, you know who else is good blockers? Is like Sterling Shepard downfield. Now Galladay's a good blocker downfield. What does that do? Send fucking Barkley to the house? I'm telling you, man, these guys play. They know how to fucking play. They know they're not going to go out there fucking run down the field and just let guys go right past them like number 13 used to do back in the day. But let me not go there. You know what I mean?
Really, this year should be just a 18-week long fellation of vindication.
Right.
Every week, it should just be, not that they're going to go fucking 17-0, but you're going to see a good football team. You're just going to see a good football team. And I'm not, I know you guys aren't either. Every single move that Dave Gettleman has made since he took this job, every single one was buried. Every single one. Now all of a sudden, all these other guys, all these content creators, Giants content creators, these media, these beat writers, killed every single move. And now all of a sudden, Leonard Williams, it's a lot of money, but you got to pay him. He's that good. He's that good. James Bradbury, no, he's just that good. Blake Martinez, what a steal, $10 million. It always comes up Gettleman. And watch what the fuck happens this year.
Oh, I'm saving some of that Leonard Williams talk for later because we're going to specialize the rest of the episode on defense. So,
yeah,
we're going to get to that one in a minute. But real quick, guys, we'll just wrap up the start of training camp here before we move on. Like I said, my big thing that I'm going to be looking forward to is the offensive line battles and seeing how they gel together and how they look and how they scrimmage and all those type of things that's upcoming in the next couple of weeks. Yep. What are you guys focusing on, Mike? What's your main focus that you want to see during training camp that you'll be, paying an extra eye to or a little more attention?
The wide receivers, man, for sure. Right. Like I said last week, I thought Tony might sneak in there and be, opposite Galladay with Shepard like in the slot. So that's what I kind of like want to see. I mean, obviously Tony going on the COVID list, got everybody in a panic all of a sudden, like, oh, he's trash. I'm like, because he ended up on the COVID list. So I'm like, how many people end up on that shit? Like, because he took the mail from his mailman, he got COVID by accident. You know what I mean? It's some dumb shit like that. So just fucking.
But he didn't get COVID.
I know.
He was on the
list. Yeah, protocol bullshit. Like he was gone for like fucking 5-6 days. So everybody needs to chill. But that's
Lamar Jackson got that shit last year too. So let's just let's put that out there, right? I think everybody's saying Lamar Jackson's career is done or he's not a Pro Bowl fucking quarterback.
35 million people in the fucking United States have gotten it. Like, chill the fuck out.
Right. I think 20 million from Florida alone.
20 million.
That whole state should be quarantined.
The entire
stay there.
Like I'm not coming back, guys. I think I gotta move down here. I'm sorry.
Stay down there until at least week 1, man. Don't ruin
it. What are you looking at for training camp?
Me?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like with the offense, like what you're saying with Tony, I really think there's you're going to see Galladay on the field for the lion's share of the snaps. You're also going to see, I think Slayton's going to come in number 2. And then I think you're going to see a good mixture of Shep and Tony getting, a borderline equal amount of snaps as the year. By the end of the year, I think it'll be more weighted toward Shep in the beginning. But I think you're going to see a good amount of snaps from all 4 of these guys. But the thing I'm going to be paying attention to most is what? Well, you're not going to see Barkley. Barkley's going to be a ghost. Okay. I don't think you're going to see him really much doing anything at all until maybe
making 5 training videos. That's about it.
Yeah, exactly. Any of the Giants content, you're not going to see him other than maybe standing around with a 26 on his chest. That's probably it. But I'm a big fan of Darnay Holmes. I like a lot of what he's about, like the whole playing chess while he's working out, approaching the game such a mental standpoint. I'm just a big fan of his. Not that I don't want Allen Robinson to be a successful cornerback for us, but I hope at least for this year you have Jackson and Bradbury as your 2 starters. But I really like to see Darnay lock down that slot corner position for the majority of the season.
It's always good to have 2, but
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, being Saquon Barkley fans, all we get is beat into our head about it's a passing league. You need a lot of corners. Yeah. So you know what? If you're going to be able to rotate around with those 2 as your inside corner, your slot corners, left and right side or whatever in certain formations, and then between the safeties and stuff, Patrick Graham is going to have a fucking field day.
I like it. Jules, are you almost ready to talk about our picks for the defensive side of the ball? Do you want to take a quick break?
Why don't we take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and we're going to flip over to the defensive side of the ball things.
And we'll be right back with the BBO NYG podcast. All right, we are back with the BBO NYG podcast. We are talking about our week 1 projected starters on the defensive side of the ball. Probably not that much of a difference from last year because our defense was just number 1 ranked all year. Okay, the best defense
in our hearts.
I'd probably seen it on paper. Maybe I drew it on the piece of paper when I looked at it, but they're number 1, man. Let me tell you. So the Giants, I think we should start. We were, going into, with John talking about the secondary. I think we should start with the secondary right there, who our starters would be.
So we'll go outside in. We'll go outside in.
I love it. Who wants to start, man?
Well, John, I think you kick it off, man. You had Darnay Holmes. You were saying that you would like to see him win the slot corner, even though I'm pretty sure that he will be competing with
Robinson.
Who is he competing with there? Is it
Allen Robinson
that we drafted or no?
Yeah, Allen Robinson, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Man. So if you want to start from the outside, obviously you gotta go James Bradbury and Adoree Jackson. They're Agreed. 2 of the higher paid corners in the NFL. Bradbury proved he's an absolute fucking gangster last year. Jackson has played exceptionally well, has a super high ceiling, and I think if he didn't get hurt last year, who knows if he's even still, on the Titans. He got hurt, whatever happens. Now he's in New York, just, but maybe it's just one of those divine intervention situations. Mm-hmm. But those 2 guys, man, on the outside, you might have a situation where you get a top 5 corner and a top 15 corner as your 2 starting outside corners on the Giants, like real life, not like Madden fantasy, not like in real life. Dave Gettleman did that, just saying. And then when you go on the inside, you're going to see so many different formations game to game and drive to drive. Obviously, you got to go Peppers and McKinney and Logan Ryan as your 3-headed monster at safety. I don't know, strong safety, free safety, money back or whatever, new age positions you want to call them. Those guys are all going to be on the field for a lot of fucking reps, all 3 of them. So that would be my problem with my secondary, and obviously, Holmes getting the lion's share at,
Who's your starter, Sean? Who's your starter, so?
Starters would be Bradbury and Jackson.
Right.
And then I think the 3 safeties are going to be all 3 on the field as starters. So
you're taking pretty much a linebacker or a defensive end out, and you're going with
probably, yeah, because that's what they ran mostly last year. I think that they're going to continue that. I think they built up one of the best safety rooms in the NFL, and it would be a shame to have one of those guys, watching from the sideline for the majority of the plays. That would be silly.
Very
Yeah, I
interesting.
mean, listen, I think it's going to be tough to really state because of what John was just basically saying. Like, obviously with the exception of the two outside corners in Jackson and Bradbury, obviously
Right.
we're excluding them. But the rest of that secondary is going to be tough. It's going to be really tough to see who fits, who doesn't fit. What's formations rather.
Right.
Like do we take a linebacker out? Do we walk up a safety? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And look, this is what kind of I was saying that I might go out on a limb, have a little bit of a bold prediction, and we have it
Can we get to it
fucking secondary. Oh man, oh boy.
Jesus,
All right.
Jules, should I just go first because I think?
Yeah, I think you should. You should save me.
I think yours.
You guys are fucking killing me.
I think yours is more.
Sorry, listeners.
We're gonna leave the viewers hanging like a little bit on that. Yeah, let me just go through mine real quick. Obviously, it's James Bradbury and Jackson. I think Jackson is going to surprise a lot of people, like how Bradbury kind of surprised a lot of us last year when he came. He's coming to the right system, the right coaching staff. So I expect him to have a huge year. To have two lockdown corners would be incredible. But inside, I would have to go with Jabril Peppers. We love him. I know possibly trade bait. Coming on the end of the summer. Like does anybody really believe that? He might not get the extension that he wants. That's a possibility. But as trade bait, you're not trading him, man. We got a solid team. But Logan Ryan, no, I'm gonna have to go with McKinney, man. I think he's a stud, man. He's the reason why maybe Jabril Peppers doesn't get an extension. I think McKinney is the guy. He's the starter. He's in every fucking play because when he's in there, when he's in the game, I know it was only a small sample size last year, but my man was all over the field and he makes plays. Let me tell you, that's my starting four: Bradbury, Jackson, McKinney, and Peppers. Now, Jules.
It's great because it's like almost like you set me up like for a serve.
All right,
you basically like kind of let it right down that path because a name that none of us have mentioned yet, and a guy that's he plays good when he's not having to be the main guy is Julian Love. And Julian Love is a serviceable guy that can play a little corner, can play a little safety, can drop back. He can do a whole bunch of things. He can't necessarily, well, I don't want to say that he can't, but you don't want to have to rely on him being one of the top guys. But when he's that sort of situational type player, he's a really good fucking situational player. And that kind of leaves us in a situation where it's like, yo, if McKinney's the real deal, which I say he is, that literally the last two seasons in the draft, the second round picks I've been fucking ecstatic about in my boy Ojulari and fucking McKinney the year before. So as much as we love him, right? And as much as he may help out on special teams, if Kadarius Toney could take over that fucking punt return role, maybe we could get some really good trade value with Peppers. And we fucking strengthen up whatever's needed by trading him out. All right?
No.
Because we have the fucking guys there and we can move on. I told you I was going to shake shit up tonight.
All right. I'm glad you weren't saying about cutting Julian Love because that's what I thought you were going to say. That's why I said I'm not going to love it last week.
No.
I'm glad that you're not saying it about Julian Love because I'm a big fan of him.
I couldn't break your heart like that.
Yeah. But, bro, Jabril Peppers, man, is the heart and soul of that fucking secondary.
Is he though?
That kid plays. Yeah, dude.
What about Ryan Logan? He kind of is he's the captain
Logan
on that team in that secondary. We got him.
Ryan.
You got Bradbury. You got other players now. If McKinney steps
That's
up and
what I'm talking
becomes that guy, he's already
That's what I'm
calling
talking
out the Cowboys, McKinney. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like, yo, he's crazy too.
Yeah, but it's different though. The energy and just I mean, that's the word for it. The energy that he brings, just his rambunctious, like loud, like
the moxie,
that like kind of emotional leader, I guess you can say. Those other guys are all, quality football players, leaders, and in their own rights. But I feel like Logan Ryan's more of like a Leonardo the fucking turtle, like the fucking, he's not like loud, rambunctious, like straight line, like Captain America. Like that's it. But he's not going to be like boisterous in any way. Where Jabril Peppers is going to be screaming and yelling and going crazy like that. James Bradbury, I don't even know what the fucking guy's voice sounds like, and I listened to 4 of his interviews. Like
he don't even know he's there. He just shuts down wide receivers. That's all he does. He just shows up. He's like, "Who do I cover?" And he just covers him. Exactly. For him again.
So I think that blood force like that guy, I think that's Jabril Peppers, man. He's a Jersey kid, and
I know why you say
would
that.
be. What would you say, Mike?
I know why you say that though about him, because he's the guy that comes up to the box. He gets to the backfield. He hits the guys in the backfield, the running backs. He makes big plays behind the line of scrimmage.
So does McKinney.
That's what the guy is John spoke about. I know McKee, but I'm saying that's the guy like you bring up to the box. He makes plays for us. That's why you see him in every play, and he's getting hyped up and he's loud. Like he's in there. So I don't want to give him up.
And he's gonna have to be like a fucking pinball. Like when you shoot the fucking pinball out of the slot and it starts bouncing around like fuck, he's got to play like that all the time. And when he runs out of energy, we'll switch in Julian Love. We'll switch up somebody else. McKinney will be in there for a few downs.
Yeah,
like that's what he's got to bring to the field the entire time. Because if not, he has never been a better trade commodity than he currently stands with the value behind it.
Right now,
and I'm talking, we can get something nice in return, whatever the case may be. And of course, it's in general, it's just stating that we need something moving forward.
What's nice to you?
Like, I'm not putting out any kind of trade predictions. I think it would be more so that if a gaping type need became obvious over the next few weeks, where it's like, man, if we don't sew this up, we're in trouble. You could put Peppers on that trade block to get that piece that we need to fill it to make the team a better whole. So that's all I'm saying.
What's a nice hole to you though right now? What do you see as a hole on this team?
I mean, what if the offensive line doesn't gel and take that next step? And Daniel Jones.
You won't know that until like week 5, 6, or 7, though.
Yeah,
you won't know that until like week 5, 6, or 7. Like,
unless it happens.
Yeah, unless an injury happens, where we don't want to talk in that hypothetical.
That's the other thing. I just hate talking about
man. I think the Giants organization, from the very top to the very bottom, I think they're expecting to be a good team this year and be competitive. And I don't think selling off one of your probably top 10 players on the roster and top 3 leaders, I don't think that you sell that guy off. And if you're getting a Pro Bowl offensive guard, and then you got to figure out which one of them
like that for sure. But
that's not going to happen though. What team is going to give that guy up? 1.
Nobody.
And 2, how much more we have to give up? Like, I love Peppers; he's a great player and stuff, but I don't know if safety is on the same level as offensive linemen, where you can do a straight up, jersey for jersey swap.
No, we'd probably have to throw a pick in there too. Like we'd have to give a little something for it.
Right. I don't think
that you got that Pro Bowl guard and it's sold up that line. When you have the secondary pieces, I mean, look, there's a reason why we haven't extended him yet. Think about it. He's the only guy we didn't extend with a big name like that. I'm just saying. Think outside the box for a minute. It might happen, but we haven't yet.
Honestly, man, they like Gettleman always says, contracts get done when they're supposed to get done. He's not due to get signed. Ingram's not signed. It's not like they rushed on Ingram and didn't rush on him. And I don't know, man. Maybe I'm biased. I don't, because I like him more than I like Ingram or whatever. But I don't know. I definitely, I would be floored, genuinely floored, if he's not on the team in 2023.
Yeah, we got to keep the New Jersey boy where he belongs.
Yeah. Real quick though, let's just say we threw in our first round pick and Peppers for Quentin Nelson. Would you do that?
Oh shit.
Oh.
Now we're playing Madden like all these freaks that come on Twitter think we're trading for Aaron Rodgers. I'm not even,
that one sounds a little bit more realistic. Like I'm giving him first round.
I'm not even entertaining that.
In reality, why would Indy ever do that?
That's why I'm not entertaining, John. It's Madden. It's fucking Madden football.
This is what we call Tonka trucks.
Jules is like one of these trolls thinking we're fucking going to trade for Aaron Rodgers.
No, I was definitely troll inspired on that one for sure. I saw a guy drop out. He was like, yo, Evan Ingram for Deshaun Watson and Houston's first round pick. And I was like, wait, Houston's first round pick?
Yeah, I was like, what?
Why would a rebuilding team ever do that?
I think I told him he should be banned from Twitter for life. I'm like,
why would we trade?
Except mine sound a little bit better,
Why would we trade Evan Ingram for a backup quarterback?
Yo, for real. Or a quarterback that could be in jail in 6 months.
Word.
The NFL's letting him play. So maybe they know something, maybe they don't.
Weird.
Yeah, but they're letting him participate.
That could turn out to be a liability for Houston, which kind of sucks for them.
Yeah. You would think if they knew something was legit about what's going on, that they would be using this time now to work with whoever it is that's behind him on the roster. I right now I can't think of who's their second quarterback, third quarterback, like who would step up in that case.
Third or fourth round, whatever the fuck they had a draft pick. I can't even think of who it was.
Yeah, you wouldn't be wasting valuable training camp time with Deshaun Watson playing quarterback if in week 6 he's going to jail for fucking 2 years. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? He's probably going to just be on the commission exempt list. Stay home until we figure this shit out, and they're going to give all the all the reps to the kid, whoever he is.
Who's traded for that motherfucker? There's like 28 massage women that came out saying like, this dude thinks it's a happy ending joint. Like, he won't leave me alone. Like, he's not getting fucking signed by anybody.
He sends me dick pics.
Yeah, he sends me dick.
Bro,
he's not getting traded.
Where's really the one place that he's got a like-minded boss?
New England.
Yeah, bro. Robert Kraft, Deshaun Watson, table next to table,
Right.
couples massage, baby.
Couples
If Mac
massage.
Jones doesn't work out, he might be the quarterback for the Patriots. You heard it here first.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. If he goes there, you know how many jokes we could come up with that shit? Oh, it would be all year. It would be fucking all year. I tell you, we might have to go to get a triple massage together. I might have to hang out with those fucking two clowns.
Hey, listen, where Kraft got busted was literally right down the road from where I currently am. So I hear you. I'm here.
Get out of here.
Jules, you gotta go. You gotta go. So
I might just do like a selfie in front of it or something.
you got to. You got to do it for the pod. You got to fucking run to that joint. Oh, that's fucking great. All right, let's move on.
I told you the secondary would be fun. I just didn't know we were going to kick it off that way.
All right, well, listen, we got to go to the linebackers now, right? So this could get interesting from you guys. I know John wanted to go with the 3 safety look at times as the starter, so maybe he takes a linebacker away, or maybe he goes 3-4 and takes a defensive end away. Who wants to start with our linebackers?
I'm curious to hear what John who he would pick as being that linebacker that gets almost taken away, or is going to be the rotational one with like McKinney or Peppers constantly. That's what I'm curious to hear.
Well, Blake Martinez is playing 90 whatever percent of the snaps. That's obvious.
He can play 100 would.
I think in the NFL, when you have the opportunity to draft somebody late and their first taste of the NFL, they look like legitimate players. I think as a general manager, a front office, and a coaching staff, I think it's your duty to figure out, to see what kind of real potential. Could this kid really be a full-on, just got slept on, went Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft by you guys, and all of a sudden it turns into maybe not a Pro Bowl, middle linebacker, but, a decent starter who can do what you need him to do when he's on the field next to Blake. I think Tay Crowder, I think they're going to explore that until they find out that he can't work, because having him work out, and he's a C+, B- player for the next 3-4 years. I mean, he basically makes $800,000 a year, and for the average person, that's a nice living. But for an NFL player of a good caliber, bro, he's basically playing for free.
All right,
Tay Crowder and Blake Martinez. So that's your inside linebacker. Who's your outside? Is it 1 or 2?
I mean, see, this is the thing. It's hard to say the starters per se, because in theory, or in truth, the definition of starter is the first 11 guys on the field. But we already know the Giants aren't going to play that style of defense. So I would probably more lean to, maybe if there's 2 positions, talking about 3 guys, because I think they can do a lot of rotating. Not on the outside corners. I think those 2 guys, who's going to be in which jersey over there, and that's just going to be what it is. But for most of the other positions, I think there's going to be a lot of a rotation, and including edge rusher, outside linebacker, Lorenzo Carter, and I think you're going to get a decent snap share between Afedi Adenabo and Azeez Ojulari. Those are the 2 hardest names to say in the Giants. Hopefully I got them right. But I think those 2 guys, you're going to see a lot of rotation. But I think, when Lorenzo Carter was healthy last year, he got a lot of snaps, Yeah. So I think the Giants like what he brings to the table. And bro, he had an Achilles injury last year. And notice this: everybody got all up in arms about who was on the PUP list last week when they announced it. No one talked about who wasn't. And Lorenzo Carter, after an Achilles injury, was not on the PUP list. He's a full fucking go. So I think they're going to look to do what they did last year, and he's going to see a lot of field.
Dude, that's a good point, man. Jules, you wanna go?
Yeah. I mean, listen, linebacker, with the exception of Blake Martinez, is going to be probably the most interesting sort of group of positions on defense this season, because you did mention Lorenzo Carter, who I think will line up on the outside. I think he will get the starting nod, but don't forget about Shane X-Men, right? Ximenez, he will be there. He's going to make some noise. As far as when it comes to the other outside, with I like to make up my names with Olden Bingo, right? And my boy Ojulari, right? Bro, we need to get this kid and steal it. Like, that dude is not losing the outside to fucking Odin Bingo, okay? Odin Nigbo, right? Listen, Odin Nigbo, he's there. He is backup. He's depth. That's all the fuck he is. The rookie will be starting on the outside position. No fucking doubt in my mind. If that kid is healthy, 100% ready to roll week 1, he will be starting on the outside. That is my boy. Watch out for him. He will be getting that fucking Madden rating up by next season. All right, you're going to know that fucking name. They're going to be playing that Frank Sinatra shit, and they're going to be doing the Ojulari, right? Like, you'll be fucking doing that shit up like crazy because you're going to hear that noise, all right? And then, and listen, Tay Crowder now, I could see him mixing in a little bit with Ragland. Right? You have Reggie Ragland. We brought him in. We signed him. We know we had Crowder there. If any kind of position is going to rotate a little bit, I kind of see that inside linebacker rotating a little bit more in with between Ragland and Tate Crowder. So this way, it takes a little bit of pressure off of Crowder, and now you can kind of mix and match. You can keep guys fresh on the field. I think we're going to be doing a lot of that this year. I think you're going to see, regardless if it's the secondary, the linebacking core, or even the D-line, I think you're going to see a lot of rotating. I think the main guys that are going to get, say 90% of the snaps is going to be, your Leonard Williams, your Blake Martinez, your Bradbury, your Jackson, and your Logan Ryan, excuse me. Outside of that, I think it's going to be a hell of a lot of rotating until certain guys really step the fuck up and take over that position, like my man Ojulari will do. Because you heard that here. It's going to be McKinney and Ojulari coming at motherfuckers.
Yeah. You guys are hitting it like the nail on the head as far as the rotation goes. Because if we did this podcast like years ago, our defensive and offensive starters, it would have been pretty much cut and dry because we didn't have any depth. Now it's such a great problem to have that we're actually discussing I can't really name a starter because they're going to be switching back and forth. And dude, it's a really, really great problem to have. And when you have that kind of problem, that's usually the strong teams that make it far in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. But let's see. I'll give my picks. I agree with what most of you guys said. I love Lorenzo Carter and Azeez on the outside. Both former Georgia boys. So we're gonna have those guys, rushing the quarterback on the edge. Inside, Blake Martinez, obviously he's the GOAT. But this one is interesting between Reggie Ragland, Tate Crowder. I'm gonna have to agree with John. I'm gonna have to go with Crowder as probably getting the nod over him. I think he's been there. He knows the system. I think he worked well with Blake Martinez last year. And, I think that's the way I'm going to go. I'm going to go with those 4 guys as my linebackers.
All right, there you have it.
And we're ready. We're ready for a fucking team, man. But now we got to get inside where the money makers are, man. I'll just go real quick. I'm going you see how I started with my safeties, the 4 guys. I didn't go with, 3 guys in the backfield. I went with 3 guys because I went with the 3-4 defense. I'm going with 3 guys on the line. That's going to be obviously, Sexy, Dexy right there, Dexter Lawrence, and Leonard Williams. That's a given. But the guy I'm going to go with, the guy we signed that 1-year contract, is Danny Shelton because he's going to play the nose position, and the dude's a beast. He gets, he's a run stopper. So I think that's the guy we need to have. Well, then you could have Dexter and Leonard getting after the quarterback all day, man. Whew. What do you guys think?
I agree with you 100%. Like I see it being those three guys starting week one right out the gate, opening series. The only thing I want to keep an eye on, and obviously we'll learn that in the next upcoming weeks over in camp, is how Ellerson Smith develops. Is he really going to truly develop as an outside linebacker type, where he's in that 3-4 look, but it's almost you can walk it up and he's the 4-3, and that's his presence? Or because he has that big frame and size and everything else, and he can only put more size on as he gets older, do they slide him into one of those defensive end sides? And will he be getting reps like giving Dexter Lawrence or Leonard Williams a blow here and there, and seeing what he looks like in that 3-4 set? I don't know. That would sort of be my, wild card, if you would, depending on how they utilize him and how they use him. It'd be interesting to see, because a big dude like that, I don't see him getting bullied on a DN line.
Jules, are you giving up on our boy Nico Lalos already to come in and give me back the ball? Are you kidding me?
But he never got back to me, bro. I said, let's go out and get some chicken gyros. He never fucking answered me in the DM.
Chicken gyros.
That's our surprise guy, Nico Lalos, baby.
And by the way, Nico, you know what I'm saying? I'm still down. If you don't like chicken, we can get some like meat. I like the combination. I'm just letting you know.
Some pizza, beef patties with cheese, pepperoni.
I have a nephew named Nico, so I'm definitely a little bit biased towards him. I like to see him still in Giants jersey, but bro, we have so much fucking talent on this roster now. Like, we really fucking do. Like, you got to be somebody to be able to see the field on the Giants roster now, and it wasn't really like that for a long time. We were pulling guys off the street, and a lot of that's due to injury and stuff like that. But at this point now, like, you don't want to say injuries, but there's going to be injuries. And I mean, when was the last time you felt so confident about the guys that were stepping up behind them? It's respect the Ghetto God. That's really what it comes down to. Just respect the Ghetto God.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with competition. It ends up pushing those two guys fighting for those last spots even further, where at times the guy that just edged him out for whatever reason it is seeing it. It might just be for the first couple weeks. That guy right behind him is that good. You know what I'm saying? Where like, he falls out. It's like you don't miss a beat. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that that's going to be the way this defense is just going to run. But I feel like for the first time in a long time, we've been saying it, that literally, whether it's in the secondary, in the linebacking core, the defensive line, we got those guys. Like, if we had a loss, we have a guy that can kind of step in. Granted, you don't want to hear about it. I hate talking about it. I don't want anybody's teams to get hurt. But, it does happen, and it could be the case. We have guys that can step in, even if it's like a week or two. It's not no longer where you're pulling up, guys that you feel like you got off the fucking practice squad to step in there. These are guys that legitimately might win the starting job, and yet they're not, because you can't have everybody start. We can only start 11 guys at the end of the day. So it's going to be a fun mini camp to watch. If anything besides that offensive line, it's going to be these defensive battles and positioning and how these guys like rotate and who's playing where, and who's like a dark horse guy that kind of sneaks in, because it happens every year. You go in, they have these projected lineups, and that shit doesn't always end up being that way week one. Definitely not by week 4 or 5 into the season.
Dude, never.
For like
never
11 weeks last year, the Giants were running out Cam Brown, Nico Lalos, fucking Carter Coughlin as their starting pass rushers. And Patrick Graham, Joe Judge, and that team were the 9th ranked defense. And now you got guys like Ifeadi Odenigbo, who, Jules, you're sleeping on a lot, I think, because he's a good player. I wouldn't say he's just a bench.
He's the other side then.
I'm not right, but I'm just saying he's going to see the field, and that's not going to be a bad thing. He's a good player.
They got a lot of depth, John, and like you said it before we got on the air with the whole Darnay Holmes, Aaron Robinson battling out. It's always good to have those fucking cornerbacks. We got, a couple other guys. We still got Yidam. He's still fucking there.
Julian Love.
I mean, BJ Hill.
Yeah. I thought that's who you were going to shout out for a minute. I thought you were going to give BJ a little love, and then you went with Nico, and I was like, all right.
I almost want BJ Hill to start over Danny Shelton. You know what I mean? I think he's a monster. He could probably stop the run pretty well, but I know it's not really his position, but whatever.
You never know.
Yeah, Danny Shelton, man, he is a fucking slab of beef, man.
Yeah, I know.
So big.
We bought him.
Yeah, he is a big motherfucker, man.
That's the sneak
him just taking up double teams, having fucking Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence bro, those are two super athletic, 300 somewhat pound guys. Dexter is like 340 something. I think Leo's like 320 something or 315 or something like that. Like you're talking about monster human beings, and they're some of the most athletic guys on the field. Just relative to their size. And then you got the guys on the outside. I don't know, man. It's a few weeks away. It just you get so excited just thinking about it. Like just sitting here, you guys are painting pictures, and I just see Darnay Holmes swatting fucking passes as the nickel corner. James Bradbury ripping the ball out of receivers' hands for intercept.
You know what I see, John, next year? I see after next season's over, I see Patrick Graham getting about 25 head coaching job interviews after next year.
25.
That's what I'm saying, man.
He's like, fuck it.
Well,
listen, don't forget now. What was that other asshole beat writer that fucking basically stated that Leonard Williams is a bust? He's going to be a bust for what we signed him for and how much we signed him. So is Kenny Galladay. So is Ryan Logan. So is James Bradbury. So is all these guys that PFF has ranked in the fucking top 15 in certain things. Yeah, they're all going to just be fucking bust because fucking somebody's got to say it, right? You know what I mean? That's just how it is. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? I it drives me fucking absolutely insane with that nonsense. It just does. Like,
of course, that jackass works for Yahoo Sports. Jules sent us the text message with that article. I'm like, these fucking people, man, they don't deserve to fucking write. No wonder he works for Yahoo. Nobody goes to it. Does anybody still have a Yahoo email? But anyway, let's take another break real quick, and we'll get right back into the special teams and our kick returners and our punt returners, all that fun stuff that Joe Judge's background comes from. We'll be right back on the BBO NYG podcast. All right, we are back, boys. Special teams, guys. Who we picking on the special teams, man? Who's going first?
I guess
I'll go first.
Oh, all right, guys.
Yeah, fuck it. Who your kicker and punter are. Graham Cano, who's going to be top 3 best kickers in the league this year. Riley Dixon's going to have a bounce back year. He's going to be at 12th best punter in the league. I'm good with that. But as far as the returners, which is obviously the more fun part of this, I think with the wide receiver room the way it is, it's going to be tough to get all these guys snaps. So that's how you're going to get some of the guys on the field, is to have them be your kick returner and your punt returners. I think Kadarius Toney is going to be a big focal point on special teams this first year, maybe 2, depending on how long Sterling Shepard's here on special teams. And I don't see anything wrong with that. So I would say starter would be Kadarius Toney for both.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Dude, I agree 100%, John. That's where I was going with Toney. Yeah. Maybe even Darnay Holmes, because, man, he's fucking lightning fast.
Right.
So it's kind of toss up between them two. Maybe I'll give one a kick returner job and the other one the punt returner, and vice versa, whatever. That's probably how I'll go with that.
The only problem with that is, especially with special teams and Judge that being his background, to hand over full duty of both kick return and punt return to a rookie ain't going to happen week 1. I would be shocked to see Toney doing both kick return and punt return on week 1. Will he develop into that role? Could that be his shit later on in the season? Without a doubt. I would focus more on a guy that was brought in that's a speedster, that if this guy's even going to make this fucking team, and I know that, look, everybody wants to make the team. They don't want to get caught. They don't want to get sent home, all that kind of shit. I would be practicing my fucking ass off. I'd have my boys outside kicking the fucking ball at me, seeing how that shit's all wobbly, throwing up fucking ducks, trying to catch it, trying to make moves. John Ross.
Right.
Let that motherfucker sneak in. All right. What the fuck else did we sign him for? But if this dude could just develop into one of these type of special team key players, you never know. He got the speed. He got the talent. He was drafted in the first round. And it's not like we're talking about John Ross where this dude was whoa, he came from where? So I kind of see him being a veteran, taking the pressure off of Jabril Peppers so we don't have to use him. Darnay Holmes, yes, he might play some of that. But I can see a John Ross sneaking in there as a kick return or punt return at some point, maybe to start week 1. That would be my dark horse surprise. Obviously, I think eventually it'll go to Toney if he's as dynamic as they're saying and he can do all these different things. Why the hell wouldn't you have him returning one of them? Unless he then becomes the number 2 wide receiver and you just don't want him exposed that often. That would be the only reason why I wouldn't see Toney taking it eventually.
Jules, who's that person in your window over there?
Who's the what?
That person in your window.
I don't know. I don't want to look around now, This is some
They're
random
the curtains
bitch
moving a
there.
little bit.
Yeah, he's just the way the curtains fucking done. We're gonna put this on YouTube later. I'm gonna have a bunch of people pointing shit out and be like, "There's a ghost in there, man."
Holy shit! Wow, yeah, John Ross.
John
I
Ross.
like that call.
I tell you,
Because if not, what is he gonna do? What the fuck else can he do? Now he's gonna have to go play in a practice squad for us. I don't know.
I know, like, but that's you said like Tony, maybe it takes him like a while, but you know what? That's what training camp and preseason is for. Like, if you use them all like 3 preseason games, like it's gonna be interesting to see like what our special teams look like, man.
Definitely.
What about a gunner?
Well,
Who do you think is our best gunner? Like for guys that don't know, gunner is like the guy that pretty much is the first on defense to run down and like try to get like the punt returner.
Is Cody Core still on our team?
I don't. That's a good question. I don't know. We have to wait and see because he might be like one of those first cuts. Like I think he's still technically on the roster.
No one's talked about him, bro. But I mean, I know he didn't have a huge impact actually taking offensive snaps. But I'll tell you what, man. Riley Dixon and Cody Core had a pretty sick connection in 2019, bro. He downs a lot of balls inside the 5-yard line. Like he made multiple plays, pinning the guys was on the 5-yard within the 5-yard line. As a special team guy, who's to say Judge doesn't keep him on the roster just because of that?
Oh, that's what he should be gunning for. No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna be able to crack it other way. But I mean, bro, think about that. John Ross was a first-round pick like 3 years ago or something like that, right?
Yep.
And now he's our 5th wide receiver.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, listen, man, if I was him, I'd have like, my boys throwing up those like punts and kicks and shit just to get ready and just so that he could feel that security, he could catch, and then he could run from it. I mean, that might be a new role for him. He could become like a Devin Hester or something, you never know. As far as the gun is concerned, why can't we give it to Darnay Holmes? If he's that much of a burner, he's defense, he gets down there, I'll go with him. That'd be my pick.
Is Darnay that quick? I didn't know that he was.
I didn't realize he was that quick, but the way Mike made it sound, like I was like,
Yeah,
I'll go with him.
Yeah, dude, he's fast. Yeah, he's real fast.
Yeah.
He did like return some kicks for us last
He
year.
did last year. Yeah,
So he
I
definitely
remember that.
got some spot. I mean, I don't know if I would like use him like on special teams like that since he's already like probably might like take a couple punt returns, but maybe like a guy like Dante Pettis. He's pretty.
That's definitely another one.
We got so many fucking people on this roster. It's crazy.
Pretty quick. I'm definitely interested to see like not just like the gunner, but like all those special teams guys that are going down there try to get to the to the offensive like punt return or kick return or whatever. I'm interested to see how like well they perform, man.
Absolutely.
Casey Crider's gonna be a long snapper.
All right.
I mean, I don't know if CJ Board's still on there. I don't know if he's still on the board, but maybe that's his fucking job.
Board on the board.
Well, listen, and that's the emphasis was that these guys were literally going to be competing for special team spots, and I think we called out a few, like the Dante Pettis, the John Rosses, shit like that. Guys that can easily be cut from the fucking team. Like there's almost, no need for them in a sense. But if they all of a sudden can impact special teams one way or another, they're gonna fucking make the cut. Like that's something that these guys should envision and be like, look, let me just fucking excel on this fucking part of the field. I can always be my fucking receiver. I can always do what I've been doing for like my whole career and shit. But let me like excel in certain areas where all of a sudden they're gonna be like, look, he's fucking valuable. Let's keep him here. You never know, especially a guy like that. When Devin Hester came in, he was supposed to be a receiver, a do-it-all type guy. And he didn't work out. So, maybe John Ross walks into that role. Who the fuck knows? And then all of a sudden we got to sign John Ross to like a 3 fucking year contract because he's a return specialist out of nowhere. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it's gonna be very
That's the ghetto god. That's all I gotta say.
That's it. But guys, now next week, don't we have like a special guest coming on that's going to describe and offer up this contest that we kind of hinted to last time?
Wow, it's August.
Yeah, man, it'll be August already, right? Training camp's already started. Like, man, I told you. I must have said a couple weeks back that this shit was just going to start to fucking fly. It's 4th of July. Like, for me, I see 4th of July, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Football season, I got to get ready for fantasy. I got to get ready for it. Because, like, that shit comes quicker than you think.
Dude, it's already a month away from 4th of July already. Like, if we're using Jules' math. So we're pretty much like figure that out. But yeah, dude, you're right. Like I got like emails for like all the football pools, Survivor pools I'm in, rollover Monday night pools. I'm in this one Monday night rollover pool. It's like $1,700 to get in. And that's the one I hit last year for like 16 grand. Fucking rollover, dude. I was fucking like,
your friend hit that. Your friend hit that. Just in case,
Oh yeah.
For the
do that. No, that money.
3-letter company. No,
that money. That money's long gone. Like I spent that money like the day after. I got that money. Like I got. I
stimulated the economy with that shit.
Yeah, I sure did. I got people out of COVID. So yeah, like there's so much like, fantasy football now again, like all this shit. Like I'm like, shit, I gotta go to the bank and start paying these motherfuckers off. And now, like, speaking of that, like we're gonna have a nice guest talking about like a little bit of gambling next week and where our partnership is going. So stay tuned, man.
So that's definitely gonna be. We've kind of made it a thing over the summer to at least kind of give you something to look forward to in the following week's episodes, so that you have something to get interested in and kind of keep in your mind where you're like, oh shit, I got to tune in. What the hell were the guys talking about? And this one is going to be where we're going to have a contest, and it's going to have to do with picking teams. And there's not going to be any kind of entry fee, but there'll be some cool prizes, once we work out the details. And like Mike mentioned before, he's going to have some sponsorship involved and all types of things. So definitely stay tuned for next week to hear that. We want to open it up to all our listeners, to your friends, to whoever, and really have some fun with this. And like I said, there'll also be some things that you can do with your friends, guys at the office, people that you work with, outside for that. Maybe it's not in the office, right? But, there'll be a lot of fun things that'll be coming up on that. And the guy's really cool. So we're going to look forward to having him on. That'll definitely be on next week's episode for sure. John, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, bro, I'm fucking baked, bro. I'm good.
I wonder why you're seeing people in the window behind me.
Yeah, like, I didn't see anybody.
I'm looking, it's like a little shadow. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, it's weird. I don't know. It hasn't moved since you fucking said it. I've been looking at it the whole time.
Then again, I don't care. Like,
I was just fucking around about that. I just saw it and I was like, I could just freak this kid out really quick.
Listen, maybe if I was sitting in the house completely by myself and it was storming out like it gets down here, like you get the crazy storms and I saw it, you might get me. I was like, oh fuck, man.
Just do a bunch of cocaine. You won't care who sneaks through your window.
Exactly. I'll be doing
next week. We're gonna come back into this podcast, and that fucking window's gonna be boarded up.
Well, unfortunately, next week I will be back in Brooklyn, so maybe I'll have the Giants banner hanging in the background for you, just for old time's sakes.
I was gonna send my sex doll there to murder you.
But I don't know, man. I think that pretty much wraps us up for this week. I hope everyone enjoyed. Like I said, keep an eye out for next week's episode. There's going to be a really cool contest that will be kicking off sometime in the middle of August. Some of the details will come out and how to find it will be available, and we'll understand what we're talking about a little bit more next week. Of course, we're going to have some special guests coming on as we get closer to the season. Might even do a couple of things where we're either at the stadium live or doing some definite shout outs in the next few weeks during the week when we're not recording. So just stay tuned for a bunch of stuff that's upcoming, man. Like we've been saying, the season's here. This is going to come before you know it. We'll be kicking off and week one will be going on and we'll be talking shit about the overrated orange and the Broncos, right? So listen, stay tuned. Hit us up on Twitter if you like. We're at the BBOMYG podcast. If you want to hit us individually, you got Mike at Mike Trainer MFT. You got at MYG Slap Parade for John, and you got at Jules NYC1. Hit us up, man. We love hearing the DMs. All right. But one last thing, John. I know you're a little baked, but we are also taking any offers because we are looking to create a customized logo for our podcast. And we put it out on Twitter. We sent it out. We got a bunch of DMs already with people offering their services and giving us different types of logos. So we're going to keep that open for at least another week. And obviously, once we do find the person that we're going to work with, we're going to invite them in on our show and, let them talk and let them give a little shout out, as a favor for them creating our logo. So definitely, if you have any kind of interest in helping us create our official logo for the BBO NYG, hit us up at Twitter. That's going to be probably the best way to reach us. DM us straight at BBOMYG podcast at Twitter. All right. And that's for any of you guys that have some artistic abilities and you really are good at creating sports logos. We have a few people already in mind, but listen, it's going to be open for at least the rest of this week. So definitely hit us up, BBOMYG at Twitter. All right. Listen, that wraps this up for us. I'll be back in Brooklyn. Hopefully I won't have to quarantine after being down here in South Florida for over a week, but I think I'll be all right. I don't have any symptoms. So listen, we're out. I'll see everyone next week. Peace.
Peace.